Humanity sets the agenda.
The time is just gone 9:56 a.m. as we continue with the show this morning. And the final link up this morning is with Johnnie Isaac, GroundUp Eastern Cape correspondent. We're talking about kidnappings, and we've seen yesterday about the kidnappings taking place in the Free State. But looking at the Eastern Cape, another area of major concern where there has been a rapid rise in cases of immigrants being kidnapped for ransoms, and some of them have asked as much as 20 million rand to secure the release of the victims. And this is a scourge that is now taking over the entire country. And we're looking at some areas, like even rural areas of the province, such as Nkobo, Butterworth, Kofimbaba, Somo, and some of the other areas. So, without much ado, we joined now by Johnnie Isaac. Johnny, good morning to you, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Johnny, I've just seen this report and talking about more immigrants being kidnapped for ransom in the Eastern Cape. We see the Hawks obviously have been investigated, but there certainly is a spike. There is an upswing, and not even rural areas are left out. And what we understand is most of the victims are usually business owners and those that run spaza shops, hardware stores from countries like Somalia, Ethiopia, and Pakistan.
Yes, most victims I've spoken with are Pakistani. There are Somali, Ethiopian, and Bangladeshis as well. Mm, The Eastern Cape, or the side where this kind of crime is prevalent, is very rural. So, because of its rural nature, it's easier for criminals to go and catch their target without law enforcement being able to realize what has taken place. But the sad thing is that the police seems to be their only intervention here is to help with negotiations than tracing and track down the traitors.
Yes. Now, also, Johnny, I think what is important to understand is who is doing the kidnapping, because we've seen the Eastern Cape provincial spokesperson for the Hawks saying that it's not that it's the South Africans who are targeting the immigrants among themselves. There are allegations that they are kidnapping each other. So it's working both ways.
Yes, there are all these kind of allegations, but I can tell you from the videos that I have seen, the kidnappings are carried out by South Africans. They are the ones who demand a ransom. And even the story of how one ransom was paid tells me that it was a South African kind of arrangement. Someone who knew the area, who directed and say, drop the money there by the bus stop. So it means someone was somewhere there watching, so that when the bag has been dropped, he quickly goes grab the bag and did what he wanted to do.
Mm. And look here, we're not talking small money. We've heard of sums as high as 20 million rand, but also we've seen smaller amounts. And when we spoke to the spokesperson for the police in the Free State yesterday, they were talking of small amounts, 60,000 rand, 150,000 rand. And obviously, there are sums, sometimes there are these huge sums. But what do you make? What do you make of some of the claims that are made by the Hawks? They're saying, some of these kidnappings may be motivated by competition for business in the province.
There is a possibility that it has to do with the competition for business, But it may also be that the criminals see the barbarity of these foreign nationals that are running the business within their communities. So it could be as well that they get tip-offs from their fellow countrymen who could be working with them or who could be behind it. But until I get to the root of it and see a face of another big Pakistani businessman behind it, for now I would say I've seen South Africans in the videos doing the kidnapping, doing the demanding for ransom, and the other is just a hearsay at the moment.
Yes. Now I see, just looking at some of the areas in the Eastern Cape, and where it appears as if there seems to be a focus on where more kidnappings are taking place. Some of the busier places like Umtata, looking at East London, King Williamstown, Queenstown. So there appears to be a focus around that area as well.
Well, there's one kidnapping in East London at Duncan Village. It could have been it could have been anything, and it could have been the criminal element who might have also seen the vulnerability of the shop owner. But the the ones that are happening in the former Transkei region of the province are organized and are executed one after the other because one person is released and then another one is getting taken.
Yes. Now, Johnny, have you had the opportunity to talk to some of these foreign nationals? What are they saying? Because I'm sure they are living in fear, they are concerned. What are they saying?
They are living in fear. Like any guest who would visit your house, then the next thing is mistreated in your house. They are expecting more from the government. More especially, we're talking of people who are bringing business, who are opening opportunities, not just for themselves, but for the South Africans. Like a guy that was taken hostage at Mandel, what is this? This Lava Park in Mpata. He had about six employees. I mean, eight employees, six South Africans. They only took the Pakistanis and leave the South Africans because they knew they could use them to negotiate. Otherwise, to take the locals as well was useless for them because there is nothing there that can hold when they carry out those negotiations.
Yes. And just finally, when one looks at the money that they are asking, and obviously some of them are huge, and all of that is being paid in cash. And I'm just trying to wrap my mind and think about, just how much cash is actually floating around for people, or for people to find the type of cash to pay these type of ransoms in hard currency.
I think one of the things we thought could fuel this was the belief that the foreign nationals don't bank. They keep money under the mattress. But at struggle to pay ransom immediately, it tells you that some people have to dig deeper, either from their savings or even raise this money from their fellow countrymen uh, and their associates.
Mm. Well, certainly will continue following up on the story, Johnny. But thank you very much for your time with us this morning. We do appreciate you taking time out to discuss this issue. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing me to the conversation.
Johnny Isaac, Eastern Cape, GroundUp Eastern Cape correspondent, discussing the kidnappings in the Eastern Cape region. And once again, the scourge of kidnapping mushrooming in many parts around the country. Yesterday we spoke about the Free State, we spoke about Welcome. Now we're looking at certain parts of the Eastern Cape, and let's hope that something can be done, because it just is not getting any easier, and people are obviously living in fear. People have become paranoid, and more importantly, I think when it comes to the foreign nationals, when you're looking at business people as well, I think that is creating havoc in those communities as well. And with that, it's time for me to sign off once again from myself and the rest of the Salam Media team. We trust and hope that you're going to have an energizing, you're going to have an inspiring, a highly spiritual Jummah. Let us not forget, let us recite abundant durood on Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, not forgetting the recitation of Surah Kahf. So have yourself a wonderful Jummah, a great weekend, inshallah. I'll be back with you next week, Thursday, once again on News and Views. From Monday, my colleague Julie Ali will be taking over. But next up, is the recitation of the Noble Quran, Juz 4 and 5, Sheikh Mishari Rashid Al Afasi. And with that, from myself and the team, once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
With submission, faith, and patience, you conveyed the noble message.